I mean, is the camp mainly just like crazy people who believe it and they're just all out for it, or would they just be faking it so you couldn't tell, or do you get an impression that the kids ever get real, like afterwards or late at night or something when it's just the kids? Do you ever get a feel for who's...
Well, I don't know. I didn't share this last time because I thought it might be kind of inappropriate, but it's something that is, I think, a perfect answer to that question. Last year, in the summertime, at the camp, of course, I was walking down the road past the girls' cabins, and I noticed something on the front lawn, and I didn't know what it was at first, and I went over to it, and I looked down, and it was something the last thing I think I could have ever expected at that camp. It was not a joint. It was not a condom. I'm looking at the chat here on the stream. It was a strap-on.
Nice!
Whoa!
Quite a large one, I may admit, since I already said it. Outside the girls' cabins.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
So they must have been doing it outside or something and left it there, and I missed it. But
I bet they checked it out the window when they woke up the other girl.
Did you get some footage?
yeah, things I missed out on.
That's
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, that was a big O. Henry ending to that story.
Yeah, but besides that, even though I just dropped that bomb, for the most part, the impression I got from people this year, there are some who sit at the back, and they don't get as involved as other kids, but they're still pretty straight edge, I guess. Okay. I haven't found anything at all that could compare to last year. But,
see, and to kind of, I'm going to answer the same question as well, because I'm still friends with some of the people that I was in a church youth group with. Some of them don't want to have anything to do with me anymore, and that's understandable, and that's their prerogative, and I don't hold anything against them. But I was friends with quite a lot of them, and I can say for sure that at youth events, whether it was camp or something else or any kind of revival, you'd work everybody up, and everybody would participate because they're still part of that same youth group, and you'd have people crying and hugging, and people who didn't get along would, hug and do the thing, and everybody would get around, and it would be a big Jesus love. And then even by that night, when people went back to their cabins or whatever, everybody already knew, by and large, what was going to happen. And, you and your best friend would be talking about, did you see so-and-so, praising and worshiping? I really hope this time it sticks, but it never really has, because she's been out doing the hoogie watts. She's been using that strap-on type thing. But you knew who was going to go out and be exactly what they were before, by and large, over and over again. And I don't think any of it's been any kind of indicator for success or rationality or even religiosity in future life. It's kind of the reason I think that camps like this and particularly the indoctrination of children is so dangerous is because some kids you're not going to change. Some kids are going to find their way free no matter what, and some kids are going to probably be batshit crazy no matter what. Yeah. But the ones in the middle, the ones that could go either way, that's where I think we're doing a huge disservice. And as long as that's the case, I have to be opposed to stuff like this, even though I participated.
Yeah, for the most part, I found that I do have some close friends there from the camp because we always were in that little group every year. I wanted to compare my memories of them when we were younger to how they are now. And see, if they've changed much. Well, they are more mature and everything, except for some instances. I usually don't use swearing or anything typically, unless I'm on the internet or not in public or polite conversation. But still, sometimes something will slip out. And I noticed at the camp they had a little thing going where if ever any one of them swore, they'd get punched in the arm by the other kid. So they were trying to be really, really
that only make me swear more. What the hell are you doing hitting me?
I had some bruises on my arm afterwards, but they also I actually talked a little bit to one of my friends about secular music, he told me about how the church he goes to back home was always ranting about, you should never listen to secular music because, garbage in, garbage out. And I told him, well, actually, I like to listen to some secular music like Motorhead, and I tried to drop some names of things where they have some particularly anti-religious songs, but I didn't mention them. And he was kind of alarmed, but I couldn't help it. Like he listens to like Christian rap, and I was like, how is that possible?
Just tell him, the other night I was listening to this old vinyl LP of the Dayglow Abortions, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure he would just love that. But that was the biggest difficulty I think it was for me this year, because I was utterly alone. I didn't find a single person I think that I could have confided in. I basically had to keep my thoughts and most of what I wanted to say to myself for 5 days. Because I was either with, of course, the other children or back at my own trailer with my mother, who is obviously a fundamentalist, so kind of kept it to myself.
Well, do what you can getting more videos up, and maybe even if you want to, I don't know, if you've got maybe some blog posts, I'm sure Tracy would probably be happy to take some email discussions with you with your comments on the camp and get them up on the Atheist Experience blog. But, I mean, if you've got one more comment you wanted to get in, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure we move on to all the people who are waiting.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And yes, me and Tracy have emailed back and forth a little bit. So I guess that would be great if we could do that sort of interview type thing through
absolutely.
the emails and the interwebs and stuff. And thanks so much for having me. And see you all later.
All right,
thanks for the
thank
report,
you.
James. I love the way I can. This is one of the advantages to like being the president, is that you can just volunteer people for stuff.
Yeah.
Tracy will handle that for you. Thank you.
I already was talking to him about doing an article. So.
I'm sure there's some fan of the show out there who just asked, did he say Dayglow Abortions? And yeah, and I didn't just make the name up. It's a real band, and there's a song of theirs called Hide the Hamster that I don't recommend anybody ever listen to. It's not, although it is funny.